G'day hikers and welcome to the 2020 Hike the Highlands Virtual Festival. My name is Tom Wilson and I'll be your host tonight. Tonight's activity is the Hikers Trivia Quiz. The Hikers Trivia Quiz is something new this year in the 2020 Hike the Highlands Virtual Festival that we thought hikers would enjoy and get to see some nice photographs of the area and as well get increase their knowledge of the trails and what it has to offer in this area. Our first question: what is the highest mountain in Nova Scotia and Cape Breton? Now, before you start, I'd like you to get a piece of paper, and there's 21 questions, and this is the first one, and you write down the answer on your question. So if it's number 1 and you select B, Acadian, then it's 1B, okay? Thank you. Okay, so what is the highest mountain in Nova Scotia and Cape Breton? Is it White Hill? Is it the Acadian Trail, the Blueberry Mountain Trail, the Franey Trail, or the Sugarloaf? I'll give you a minute to look at the answer. On the right-hand side is a picture of Franey Mountain, and that is well-known hiker Nancy McDonald pictured in that photo. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. Question number 2. The SKYLINE Trail is well known for its scenic views overlooking the Cabot Trail and the Atlantic Ocean. It has an elevation of, is it 1,012 feet? Is it 1,410 feet? Is it 1,493 feet? Or is it 1,345 feet? Okay, the picture to the right is actually the SKYLINE Trail, and the photo credit is rachelincanada.wordpress.com. So I'll give you another minute to take a look at that. Okay. Moving on to number 3 question. What is the longest hiking trail in the Cape Breton Highlands National Park? Is it the Acadian Trail? Is it the Aspy Trail? Is it Le Vieux Chemin de Gaparouche? I hope I pronounced that right. Is it the Clybourne Valley, or is it the Fishing Cove? The picture to the right is the Aspy Trail, just so you know. Okay, so I'll give you one more minute to look at the answer for that one. What's the longest hiking trail in the Cape Breton Highlands National Park? Okay. Now the next question, number 4. How many hiking trails are in the Cape Breton Highlands National Park? Is it 24? Is it 25? Is it 26? Or is it 27? Okay, I'll give you a minute to look at that one more time. The picture to the right is McIntosh Brook, one of the trails in the Cape Breton Highlands National Park. I believe it's 1.7 kilometers in there. It's a nice little walk in there, and it's a nice little waterfall. There's a campground right out before you start the hiking trail. Okay. Okay, moving on to question number 5. How many years has Hike the Highlands Festival Society hosted the Cape Breton Highlands 3 Peak Challenge? Note, because of COVID-19, we did not host an event in 2020. So is it 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, or 12 years? And picture to the right is the Acadian Trail, which is one of the mountains that's normally featured in the Cape Breton Highlands 3 Peaks Challenge. Okay, I believe it's 1,400 feet high. Moving on to question number 7. What is the longest hiking trail in PEI? Now, the two big ones in PEI are the Confederation Trail and the Island Walk, which is a new trail that will be officially open in 2021. So it's either one of those two, Confederation Trail or the Island Walk. And the picture to the right is a picture of the North. Yeah, it's the North Cape Trail. That's the one with all the windmills. And this takes you right out to a nice coastal point. Okay. Question number 8. The average hiker will hike how many kilometers per hour? Is it 5.2 to 5.8 kilometers an hour? Is it 1.8 to 3 kilometers an hour? Is it 6.8 kilometers an hour, or is it 3.2 to 4.8 kilometers an hour? Any hiker that usually does a long distance walk will generally know how many kilometers they can do in an hour. It's like pacing yourself. And it's something that all hikers should get to know, is your pace, because it's going to be important sometimes, especially in bad weather or when it's dangerous conditions and you have to get back. You want to know roughly how many kilometers you can do in an hour. Okay. The pictures to the right, excuse me, the picture to the right is the little grassy trail in Mead Cove. Okay. Moving on to question number 9. Roberts Mountain in Pleasant Bay, which is the northern part of Cape Breton Island, has an elevation of, is it 1,200 feet? Is it 1,126 feet? Or is it 1,300 feet? I'll give you a minute to look at that one more time. The picture to the right is actually going down Roberts Mountain. You can see there's the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and that's the harbor for Pleasant Bay. And this is one of the 3 peak mountains. It's also featured in the Hike to Highland Festival, usually every second year. Okay. Question number 10. When you're hiking in Cape Breton Island, what animal will you not see in the woods? Okay. Is it the northern flying squirrel? Is it a skunk? Is it a moose? Or is it a black bear? Okay, I'll give you a minute. The picture to the right is a bull moose. Okay, and then bull moose is a male and has the antlers. Okay. Question number 11. In what year was the first Hike to Highlands Festival? Was it in 2004? Was it in 2005? Was it in 2006? Or was it in 2007? Okay, give you a minute. The picture to the right is North River Falls, the highest waterfalls in Nova Scotia, at 1,100, or not 1,100, but 110 feet high. And it's about an 18-kilometer return hike. And if you ever want to go in there and you want to go for a swim, I just want to remind you the water is very cold in there, but be great on a really hot day. Okay. So that question is, in what year was the first Hike to Highlands Festival? 2004, or was it 2005, or was it 2006, or was it 2007? Okay. Moving on to the next question. What professional photographer became famous for his shows involving music, photography, and video? He is a good friend of the Hike to Highlands Festival. I'll just give you an example of one of his shows. He had 11 projectors with live music doing a professional show in another country in the world, and he is well known for his shows. So here are your candidates. Was it Warren Gordon? Was it Adam Hill? Was it Chris Tainski? Or was it Wally Hayes? I have some experience with doing shows, and nobody can beat this guy. He's amazing. He's an incredible, he knows how to match music, live music, with the photos and the sounds of in his show, and it just blows your mind away. And when I talked about those 11 screens running off into coming out from one computer, and those screens are like 30 feet high by I think 12 to 15 feet long, and he's got 11 of those screens in the room. So it's a really big auditorium, and it just blows your mind away, that show. Anyway, that's enough for that question. So I'll move on to the next one. Sorry. Number 13 question. How many hikers can be in a group hiking Nova Scotia this fall? And these are the rules that were developed with public health input with Hike Nova Scotia to make sure that the fall hiking series is well run and follows all the rules and regulations of COVID-19. So I'm giving you three choices. A, is it 10 plus the leader? B, is it 10 including the leader? Or C, is it 6 plus the leader? Okay. Now, unfortunately, I really don't know where that photograph is taken from, but it must be somewhere along the coast in Nova Scotia. Okay, so there is new fall hiking regulations that Hike Nova Scotia, along with public health officials, developed, and this will be the norm for at least this fall and maybe even next year, that you can only have a group of 10 people. Is it 10 plus the leader? Is it 10 including the leader? Or is it 6 plus the leader? I think I just gave that question away. Sorry about that, folks. Number 14, question number 14. What is the newest piece of equipment in 2020 that should be in your day pack? A, is it a mask, neck warmer, or bandana? Is it hand sanitizer? C, is it latex gloves? Or D, is it all of the above? Now, I'm not sure where that bridge is, but that looks like a kind of a scary little walk across the gully of that area there. Okay, so moving on to question number 15. What is the name of the relatively new hiking club in CHETICAMP? A, is it Les Amis de Plein Air? B, is it Les Toits de Pignon? Or C, is it Les Hikers? The picture to the right, I do know, I was there many times, and that's Blueberry Mountain. It's a relatively new trail that unofficially it's not technically open yet, but it's a trail that many hikers like to go up, and you can usually park in the parking lot of the Gap Rouge Lookoff. Okay. Moving on to question number 16. Okay, how many major woodland trails are involved in the Island Trails, which is located in PEI? Note this does not include, I'm not including the Confederation Trail. Okay, so the Island Trails organization in PEI has major woodland trails. But we're not including the Confederation Trail. So is it 7 trails? Is it 8 trails? Or is it 9 trails? Now the picture to the right is the Bonshaw Hills Provincial Park, which is one of those trails that is in the answer. Okay. PEI is doing a lot of work right now involving more trail work. They're involved in this new walk, the Island Walk, which is a 700-kilometer over 32 days, which covers the whole province on the coastal side of it. And really are doing some amazing things with their hiking trails and with their walking trails, and it's an organization that's going to be one that you want to look at and see how they do things in the future. Okay, moving on to question number 17. We're moving into another province, that's New Brunswick. Mount Carleton is the highest mountain in New Brunswick. What is its elevation? Is it 820 meters? Is it 850 meters? Or is it 870 meters? And when you climb the top of this mountain, you will come to a fire tower. Okay, and that's the picture to the right. Okay, so the question again is, what is its elevation? What's the highest mountain in New Brunswick? Mount Carleton. Is it 820 meters, 850 meters, or 870 meters? And the photo credit is dayhikeradventures.wordpress.com. Okay, we're moving on to question number 18. And we're moving into another province, the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. The East Coast Hiking Trail is located on the east side of Newfoundland and is made up of how many wilderness paths? Now, some people may consider wilderness path how many sections? Okay, so that could be another word you could use. So is it 24 paths or 24 sections? Is it 25 paths or sections? Or is it 26 paths or sections? And this is a bridge. It's part of the East Coast Trail, LaMash, I think it's called, LaMash. And this is a really unique trail, and they also you can camp, do wilderness camping all the way right through the whole section, or you can stay at a B&B and they will transport you back every day, and very reasonable. I think the last time I looked, it was like $150 a day. And that includes your breakfast, lunch, and then your supper and your overnight accommodation. So it's very reasonable. So Um, well worth to take a look at the East Coast Trail in Newfoundland. Okay, moving on to question number 19. Okay. And this question basically is, how many national trails are there in United Kingdom? Okay. Is it 15? Is it 16? Or is it 17? Picture to the right is Adrian's Wall, which is located in England. And I believe it's 85 miles long. Yep. This was built by the Romans in many, many years ago. And surprisingly, I thought there would have been more national trails in UK, but there is a lot of mountains and long distance walks and trails that you can go on. So, but these are the official national trails. Okay. Okay, moving on to question number 20. And so when we talk about the national trails in the UK, I guess you would consider in Canada, this is definitely the national trail. What's called the Great Trail now, but previously was called the Trans-Canada Trail. And so the question is how many kilometers in Nova Scotia is the Great Trail? So, okay, so in Nova Scotia, the trail is made into 3 different components. There's the going through woodland and forest. There's sections on the water, and there's sections on a road. Okay, so those 3 components make up the Great Trail in Nova Scotia. So how many kilometers is it? Is it is it 1,200 kilometers, 500 land, 400 water, 300 road? Is it B, 1,300 kilometers, 500 kilometers land, 400 water, 400 road? C, is it 1,500 kilometers, 600 kilometers land, 500 water, 400 road? The photo credit to the right is the Cayley Shores Coastal Trail. And this is part of the Great Trail in Nova Scotia. And this is located on the left-hand side of the Cabot Trail in Inverness County. And it starts at the causeway and goes all the way up to Inverness. Okay. I'll give you another minute to look at that. Okay, the last question in the Hikers Trivia quiz is Long Distance Walker Association, the LDWA, in UK annually hosts the 100-mile challenge. How do you qualify? So there's a possibility if one of those 3 is the right answer. So do you walk 40 miles in 24 hours? Do you walk 50 miles in 26 hours? Or do you walk 62 miles in 26 hours? Now, just want to mention a little bit. Most people that do the 100-mile challenge, this 100-mile challenge is done in 48 hours. Okay? So you have to qualify in order to be eligible for this event. And there's roughly 500 people that can qualify for this event. So back to the question. You qualify A, by walking 40 miles in 24 hours, or B, walk 50 miles in 26 hours, or C, walk 62 miles in 26 hours. This is a really grueling event. And I've seen some YouTube videos on this, and you notice that a lot of them tend to be runners in amazing shape. And you would have to be to do 100 miles in 48 hours. I've heard of people walking and hiking 20 some miles in 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours. But to go 100 miles over 48 hours, that must be a really grueling walk. Okay, so that's the last question. So I'd like to thank the hikers for taking time to be part of our first and maybe annual Hikers Trivia Quiz. The results will be posted on hiketohighlands.com website. And I would think that if you get more than 70% right, you had a really good night, okay? And your knowledge is well versed in the sport of hiking. So thank you on behalf of Hike to Highlands Festival Society for joining us on our first Hikers Trivia Quiz, and we hope that you did well and that you enjoyed seeing the photos along with the questions. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.